कृतवन्तः परन्तु बहु like direction दर्शितवान् सः अतः मम बहु सन्तोषः अपि तु कृतज्ञता भावः अस्ति इदानीं साक्षात् तस्य कक्षायाम् अहमपि उपस्थिता अस्मि इति बहु आनन्दः अस्ति अतः इतोपि बहु वक्तुं शक्नुमः परन्तु इदानीं वयं सर्वे तस्य प्रवचनं श्रोतुम् उपस्थिताः सन्ति इति कारणेन तस्मै दास्यामि इंग्लिश मध्ये किञ्चित् समरी करोमि एतत् so I was trying to say that officially we can appreciate Prabhuji his position in ISKCON service to ISKCON but I would like to share how as a teacher in this Gaudiya Darshanam, what was my personal realization, because that probably would carry more weight for all the audience who are attending Gaudiya Darshanam. So he is really a scholar in the true sense, having studied a little bit of Sanskritam, not only that there are other, other Shastras, one can be studying actually. So Prabhuji studied, he got the essence of all the Shastras like Yoga, Veda, Mimamsa, Nyaya. We see that little in his sessions. But actually, that's a very rare, Pandityam, very rare scholarship we have. So we are so fortunate that Prabhuji is Gaudiya Vaishnava scholar, is our age, he is reachable, approachable. So, we are so fortunate to have him. And also he's a connoisseur of Bhakti Rasas. All of us know whenever he speaks about Bhakti Rasa, our heart melts. We also feel a little bit of what he's feeling. And he's a poet. He writes in Chitrakavya style and many other shlokas he composes. And he's currently doing Shikshashtakam series also, like serving devotees. And he also wrote a commentary on Bhakti Rasayanam. We all know that. And even my individual spiritual journey, there is a great contribution from Prabhuji. So, I am very grateful. Without his references, his classes, I wouldn't have presented Gaudiya Darshanam with such a, what to say, in the sense of with pramana, with the evidence. I wouldn't have, it would have been very difficult to get all the references. It was so easy because I've heard Prabhuji's classes and Prabhuji very nicely shares his references. So I am greatly benefited, and through me, all the Gaudiya Darshana audience also got benefited. So we are so happy to see him directly and hear from him now. So I'll offer the floor unto Prabhuji to continue his class about Rupa Goswami's definition of Uttamā Bhakti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. अथ Mangalacharanam aham karomi. Now I'll begin with Mangalacharan. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Soyam Rupah kada mahyam dadati svapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namah. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। अथ मातुः श्यामलाया मङ्गलाचरणानन्तरम् अहमपि मङ्गलाचरणं करोमि। Now, after the Mangalacharan of Śyāmalā Mataji, I also am performing Mangalacharanam. तथा सर्वेषां सहृदय भक्ति पिपासूनां अत्यादर भाव पूर्वकं स्वागतं करोमि. And to all those like-minded devotees who are eager to relish bhakti, for all of them very respectfully, I welcome all of them. Sarvebhyo bhuyamsi namamsi. Unto all of you, my profuse obeisances. Adya Gaudiya Darshana Pravachana Shrinkhalayah Shodasho Bhagavasti. Today is the 16th part of the Gaudiya Darshana series of talks. Pravachanasya Nimantrana Kartrim Mataram Śyāmalāṃ Prati Aham Naikā Dhanyavādah Samarpan. And towards Śyāmalā Mataji, who is the inviter of this particular talk, towards her I offer many, many profuse thanks. Atha. Now I am beginning, and I am beginning with the term Atha. Yataha Omkaraschatha Shabdascha Dvavetau Brahmanah Pura Kantham Bhitva Viniryatau Tena Mangalika Vubhav. What is the reason that I began with the term Atha? The reason is that there are two terms. First is Pranav, Omkar, and the second is Atha. These two terms came from the throat of Shri Brahma in the beginning of the creation. Therefore, these two terms are known as Mangalika. They create auspiciousness. And for this reason, we begin the Mangalacharan with Omkar. And today I have begun the presentation with the term Atha. Atha. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Namanam Grantham Adhikritya Tasmin Vidyamanam Uttama Bhakter Anuttamam Vyakhyam Varnayishyami Iti Mama Mahan Pramodaha. Today it is my great happiness that focusing upon the literature Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, I am going to speak something about the best definition of Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti, which is present within that particular literature. Bhaktir Nama Bharat Deshasya Vaidika Laukika Sahityayoh Saram Iti Asmin Vishaye Nasti Keshamapi Vidusham Samshayah. Now, Bhakti is certainly the essence of all the Vedic and Laukik literature. Laukik literature is literature written in the common world. It is certainly the essence. And the fact that Bhakti is the essence of all the literature coming from this particular place, about this, there is no doubt in the minds of intelligent people. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite kathita hyartha prakashante mahatmana iti upanishadam dimdima ghosha. It is the loud proclamation of the Upanishads. The Shvetashvatar Upanishad says, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite kathita hyartha prakashante mahatmana. That a person who possesses the highest variety of bhakti unto Bhagavan, and similar bhakti such a person possesses unto Guru, only for such a person do the Veda Shastras automatically reveal their intent. This is the loud proclamation of the Shastras. Dindima Kosha. Bhaktim vina Veda api Swesham gudhartham kanchid api jigyasum prati naiva udghatayanti iti anena bhaktehe sarvatishayita siddha eva. Now, without bhakti, the Vedas too will not reveal their intended meaning to any person who wants to know those meanings. And this is the summary of the Upanishad verse from the Shvetashvatar Upanishad that I quoted. And by this, it is very clearly understood that bhakti is the greatest amongst all. Karma, yoga, jnanadi, marginopi. Guru bhaktim vina swa marge siddhim naiva prapnuvanti. Now, those who are on karma marg, those who are on jnana marg, those who are on yoga marg, those who are on these paths, all these individuals too cannot attain perfection on their respective paths without Guru Bhakti. Ityeva bhaktehe sarvati shaitvam. This indeed is the supremacy of bhakti. Atra samshayo jayate. Now there is a doubt which occurs here. Ka nama bhaktihi kati lakshanani tasyaha santi. What is bhakti? And how many characteristics does she have? Ityasmin vishaye bahubhir acharyair bahuvidhani matani prakatikritani. In this regard, many acharyas have presented many types of opinions. And those opinions are not all aligned with each other. Narada Bhakti Sutrasya Panchadashe Sutre Shri Narada Munir Uvacha. Now, in the 15th Sutra of Shri Narada Bhakti Sutra, Shri Narada Muni spoke something. Sarve Pashyata. All of you, please see. Panchadasha Sutram. Shri Narada Munir Uvacha Tal Lakshanani Vachyante Nana Mata Bhedat iti. Tal Lakshanani. Bhaktehe Lakshanani Vachyante. Kintu Nana Mata Bhedat. So Shri Narada Muni, in the 15th Sutra of Narad Bhakti Sutra, he says, Tal Lakshanani Vachyante. Now the characteristics of bhakti will be spoken. But Nana Mata Bhedat. But according to various opinions. So here is the translation. Atra भक्तेर व्याख्याकर्तॄणां मध्ये नास्ति मतैक्यम् इति सूत्रे स्फुटं दृश्यत एव. Now, in this sutra, it is very clearly visible that even amongst those who are definers of bhakti, there is not one single opinion. परसूत्रे श्री व्यासदेवस्य भक्ति लक्षणं श्री नारद मुनि भक्ति पूजादिषु अनुराग इति पाराशर्यः. पूजा adishu anuraga iti parashari. So next sutra Shri Narad Muni is saying, he is explaining the definition given by Shri Vyasadev. And what is the definition given by Shri Vyasadev? Puja adishu anuraga iti parasharyah. Puja adishu, for worship etc. Within worship etc. Anuraga, fondness. Iti, this is the opinion of Parasharyah, the son of Parashar Muni, Shri Vyasadev. So, according to this definition, Shri Vyasadev says bhakti is fondness, deep attachment for worshipping Bhagwan, worshipping the Supreme Lord, etc. So, this is the definition of Parasharya. This is the definition of Shri Vyasadev. Atra anuraga shabdena atishaya pritir avagamyate. Now, in this definition, we see the term anuraga, and this anuraga refers to extreme fondness. Ataha bhagavataha pujadishu atishaya pritireva bhaktir iti Shri Vyasasya matam. Therefore, extreme fondness for worship etc. of Bhagwan is bhakti. This is the opinion of Shri Vyasadeva. It is Phutam. This is very clearly mentioned here. Kintu iyam vyakhya ekadeshiya eva. But this definition is limited to one aspect. Yatah kevalam bhagavatah pujadishu pritireva bhakti lakshana rupena grihita. Because only the puja, the worship of Bhagwan, is accepted here primarily as bhakti. Asyam vyakhyayam भक्त संबंधी पूजा प्रीति स्तु भक्ति लक्षण रूपेण न गृहीता. In this definition, attachment to worship of the devotee has not been spoken about. Attachment to worship of Bhagwan has been spoken about, but attachment to worship of the devotee has not been spoken about. Atra kechana vadanti. Now here some people say bhakta puja, bhagavat puja iti anayor abhedameva. That there is non-difference between worship of devotee and worship of Bhagwan. Kintu tanna, but this is not the case. Ekadash skande Bhagavato vachanam asti mad bhakta puja abhyadhika. In the 11th canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, there is Bhagwan's statement, mad bhakta puja abhyadhika, that the worship of my devotee surpasses my own worship. Anenaiva bhakta pujaya antarbhavam bhagavat pujayam naiva bhavati. So by this very proof, it is clear that the worship of the devotee cannot be included in the worship of Bhagwan. Ataha avyapti dosho asmin sutre pratibhati. Therefore, in this sutra, we can see that there is a vyapti dosha, that the sutra does not cover all aspects of the definition of bhakti. Parasutre Munihi Shri Gargasya Vyakhyam Bhakti. Now, in the next sutra, Shri Narad Muni speaks the definition of Shri Garga Muni. Kathadishu iti gargah iti. So the definition is Kathadishu iti gargah. Purva sutrena anurag padasya anuvrittir atra bhavati. So from the previous sutra, we are carrying forward the term anuragah. So, kathadishu anuraga iti gargah. So the actual sutra will be that deep fondness for katha etc. Katha etc. of whom? Bhagavatah katha. Bhagwan's katha is what is bhakti. So deep fondness for narrations etc. of Bhagavan is bhakti. This is the opinion of Shri Garga Muni. अस्मिन् सूत्रेपि भगवत कथा प्रीतिर एव भक्ति लक्षण रूपेण व्याख्यातम अस्ति. Now in this sutra also, fondness for the katha of Bhagwan is accepted as the characteristic of bhakti. Atra nasti bhagavad bhakta kathayaha pritehe samaveshah. And there is no inclusion of priti, of fondness of the katha of Bhagwan's devotee. Atah atrapi avyapti doshah pratibhati. Therefore, even in this definition, we see a vyapti, that it is not able to cover all aspects of bhakti. Parasutre, now in the next sutra, Munihi Shri Shandilyasya Bhakti Lakshanam Bhakti. Now in this sutra, Shri Narad Muni speaks the characteristics of bhakti as expressed by Shri Shandilya. Atma rati avirodhena iti Shandilya iti. Now, Atma rati avirodhena. What is the meaning of this sutra? That avirodhena, bhakti is to not create any obstacles. In Atma rati, Atma here is Bhagavan. Atma rati avirodhena iti Shandilya. So bhakti is to remove all obstructions to Atmarati, to delighting in the Supreme Personality, delighting in Bhagavan. Atra Atma Shabdena Jivasya Grahanam na. Here the term Atma doesn't refer to the Jiva. Atma Shabdena Sarvatma Bhagavan Avagamyate. So the soul of the entire universe, Bhagavan, is understood here by the term Atma. Asmin sutrepi Bhagavat rati paryanta eva bhakti lakshanasya maryada krita. In this sutra also, only till love of Bhagavan, fondness of Bhagavan, bhakti has been restricted. Bhagavat bhakta vishayika ratir atra bhakti lakshana rupena na svikrita. So fondness or love for the devotee of Bhagavan is not accepted or not included in this particular definition. Atah atrapi avyapti. Therefore, in this definition too, there is something which is missing out. Parasutre Narad Munihi Swasya Vyakhyam Bhakti Naradastu Tad Arpita Akhilacharata Tad Vismarane Parama Vyakulata iti. Now in the next sutra, Narad Muni ends up speaking his own definition. And what is his own definition? Naradastu. Narad, however, says, what is bhakti? Tad arpita akhila acharata. That the mood of offering all activities unto Bhagwan. Tad arpita akhila acharata. In this, ityatra tal pratyaya. So, tasya bhava stvatalav. Here in arpita akhila acharata, there is ta, which is tal suffix, and it indicates the mood of a particular activity. So the mood of offering all activities unto Bhagwan. And that is bhakti, to have the mood of offering all activities unto Bhagwan. And tad vismarane, and in forgetting Bhagwan, parama vyakulata, the mood of being extremely distressed, supremely distressed. So iti. So what does Sri Narad Muni say? Narad, however, says that bhakti consists of offering one's every act to the Supreme Lord and feeling extreme distress in forgetting him. Iti Shri Narad Munehe Vyakhyanam, Bhaktehe Vyakhyanam. Asmin Sutre Api Bhagavate Karmarpanam Tatha Bhagavad Vismarane Vyakulatvam Eva Bhakti Lakshana Rupena Svikritam. Nasti atrapi bhagavad bhakta sambandhi kriyaya kopi sambandha. So in this sutra also, to offer everything to Bhagwan and to have extreme distress in forgetting Bhagwan, these two have been accepted as characteristics of bhakti. Even here, there is no inclusion of any activity related to the bhakta of Bhagwan. Even in this definition. Ataha atrapi avyapti dosha pratibhati eva. Therefore, even in this definition, it seems that there is avyapti, that there is non-inclusion of many factors. Nanu. Now, if a doubt arises, ekasya vyakyakarasya matam samichinam sarvesham va. Is the opinion of any one definer correct, or everybody's opinion is correct? Whose opinion is correct? Iti apekshayam sati munihi parasutre vakti. Now, if this question arises, then in the next sutra, Narad Muni says something. Asti evam evam. Iti. Arthat sarvesham matani samichinani eva. Sarvesham matani samichinani. Means everybody's opinion is correct. You can see the translation. Asti evam evam. It is like this, like this. Like it is correctly described in each of those ways. Atra संशयो जायते एका व्याख्या समीचीना अथवा नैका व्याख्याः समीचीना. Now here is a doubt: is one definition good or multiple definitions are good? कोऽपि विद्वान् वक्ति यत् एका व्याख्या एव समीचीना. Any intelligent person says one definition is supposed to be good. We don't need so many definitions. We need one definition. Chaturshu api vyakyasu avyapti dosho. And in all four definitions that we saw, Parasharya, Vyasadev's, then Garga Muni's, then Shandilya Muni's, then Narad Muni's definition, we are able to see a Vyapti dosh, that they are not able to cover all aspects. अतः यदि भक्तेः सर्वदेशीयां व्याख्यां वयम् इच्छामः. Now, if we desire a definition of bhakti which is, all pervasive, which includes all the aspects of bhakti, tarhi anyatra anveshanam apekshitam asmati. Then it is expected that we should look elsewhere. We cannot look here. Although this is Narad Bhakti Sutra, but we are not able to find one definition of bhakti that covers all aspects. And even if we take all definitions, all 4 definitions given here, and says asti evam evam, it is like this, still we cannot find even all 4 definitions together to be defining bhakti completely. Ataeva Shri Krishna Manobhishtagyasya Bhakti Avara Parinasya Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupadasya Vyakhyam Vayam Adya Drashtasma. So therefore today we will see the explanation of bhakti that is given by Shri Rupa Goswami, who is Shri Krishna Manobhishtagya, who knows what is the inner intent of Shri Krishna and who is very dear to Shri Krishna, and who is also Avar Parin, who has completely gone across the ocean of bhakti. And this definition of Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, Prabhupada iti shabdasya ko vigraha. What is the breakdown of the term Prabhupada? Prabhavah pade yasya iti Prabhupada. The many Prabhus or many masters sit at whose feet. This is the meaning of Prabhupada. Iti bahuvrihi samasa. This is bahuvrihi samas. This is one type of samas term, or we say combined term. Athava prabhau padav iva padau yasya iti Prabhupada. Otherwise, he whose 2 feet are like the 2 feet of Shri Krishna. This is Prabhupada. Iti antima pada lopa bahuvrihi samasa. This is a special type of bahuvrihi samas, which is known as antima pada lopi bahuvrihi samas. That whose 2 feet are exactly like the 2 feet of Prabhu Shri Krishna. So, just as Shri Krishna's feet are able to deliver one across the ocean of samsar, similarly, his feet are also able to deliver us across the ocean of samsar. Atah prabhoh Shri Krishnasya padav iva padau yasya iti Prabhupada. So this is the meaning of Prabhupada. So, atra Shri Rupa Goswaminah bhakti vyakhya asmakam samakshe asti. Now in front of us is the definition of bhakti given by Shri Rupa Goswami. Sa vyakhya sarvadeshiya asti तथा अव्याप्ति अतिव्याप्ति आदि दोषै रहिता अस्ति. Now this definition is sarvadeshiya. The sarvadeshiya means it covers all aspects of bhakti and it is free from the fault of under application, over application, etc. Tam vyakhyam pashyata. All of you see this explanation. It is in front of you. Anyabhilashita shunyam ज्ञानकर्माद्यनावृतम् आनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनं भक्तिरुत्तमा। इयं कारिका श्री रूप गोस्वामीभिर्भक्तिरसामृत सिन्धौ रचिता. So this composition, this karika, what is the meaning of karika? Karika is a verse of original composition. So this is karika. Karika means this is a verse of original composition of Shri Rupa Goswami by the respected Shri Rupa Goswami. Shri Rupa Goswami bhir Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhau Rachita. It is composed in the literature named Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhau. Atra Rupa Goswami bhir iti bahuvachanam adarartham eva. So here I am speaking plural case in the term Shri Rupa Goswami bhir. This is for giving respect. Just as in English, there is in the classical English, there is I go, and somebody sometimes in classical English for oneself, we go. The royal we is present in English. तथैव संस्कृत भाषायामपि आदरार्थे बहुवचनस्य प्रयोगो अस्ति. अस्तु, इयं कारिका श्री रूप गोस्वामीभिर् भक्तिरसामृत सिन्धौ रचिता. This particular karika, this particular verse has been composed in Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu by Shri Rupa Goswami. अत्र गोस्वामी चरणैर्न केवलं भक्तेर्व्याख्या कृता प्रत्युत उत्तमाया भक्तेर्व्याख्या कृता. Now in this particular definition, Shri Rupa Goswami has not only defined bhakti, but he has defined Uttama Bhakti. Not bhakti, but Uttama Bhakti. Pashya, Bhaktir Uttama. Now all of you see what is written there. Bhaktir Uttama. That is what Shri Rupa Goswami has written here. So, Bhaktir Uttama, that he is defining what is Uttama Bhakti. He is defining what is the highest type of Bhakti. Kimartham idrisham vyakhyanam. For what purpose he is speaking like this? Why not define Bhakti? Why define Uttama Bhakti? Kimartham. For what purpose is he doing like this? Yataha Bhaktehe Paripurna Swarupam Uttama Bhaktav Eva Drishyate. Because the complete expression, the complete characteristics of Bhakti are seen only in Uttama Bhakti. Uttamataya abhave, when this Uttama nature of Bhakti is not present, Bhaktau Anyesham Bhakti Bhinna Ghataka Prabhavo Drishyate. When this Uttama nature of Bhakti is not present, then the influence of other aspect, other characteristics which are different from Bhakti are seen in Bhakti. Ataha, therefore, Bhaktehe Parishuddhya Swabhavas Tatra Naiva Gocharo Bhavati. Therefore, the pure nature of Bhakti is not seen in those particular instances of Bhakti. Yatha Jalasya Lakshanam Shuddha Jale Eva Drishyate. Just as characteristics of water are seen only in pure water, na tu Ashuddha Jale. They are not seen in impure water. Shuddha Jaleshu Eva, na tu Ashuddha Jaleshu. They are seen only in pure water, not in impure waters. Tatha Bhakter api Lakshanani. Similarly, characteristics of Bhakti also Uttamayam Bhaktaveva Drishyante. Na anyatra. So characteristics of Uttama Bhakti, characteristics are seen only in Uttama Bhakti. They are not seen elsewhere in Bhakti which is not Uttama. Atha punaha moolam anusarama. Now we will go back to the original verse. Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karma dyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu शीलनम भक्तिर उत्तमा. इति कारिकायां लक्षणत्रयम् अस्ति. There are three characteristics in this verse. अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यम इति प्रथमं लक्षणम्. This is the first characteristic is Anyabhilashita Shunyam. Jnana Karmadi Anavritam iti dvitiyam lakshanam. Second characteristic is Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. Anukulyenu Krishnanushīlanam iti tritiyam lakshanam. And the third characteristic is Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam. Iti lakshanaihi Uttama Bhaktir Lakshita Asti. Now, with these three characteristics, the final term Uttama Bhakti is characterized or defined. So, for any definition, you need characteristics. So, similarly, for this defining Uttama Bhakti, Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada has given three characteristics. And the three characteristics are Anyabhilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam, iti Bhaktir Uttama. This is Uttama Bhakti. Atra Mukhyam Lakshanam Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam. Iti Mukhyam Lakshanam. This is the main characteristic. What is Bhakti? Uttama Bhakti. What is the highest Bhakti? Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam. And what is the meaning of this? We will see here. First, we will see meaning of Anukulyena. Kim atra Anukulyam? What is the meaning of Anukulyam here? Anukulasya bhavaha Anukulyam. The mood of being favorable is Anukulya. Favorable towards whom? Kamprati. Towards whom? Shri Krishnam Prati. Anukulyam. Shri Krishnam Prati. Towards Shri Krishna. Tikakritvihi Shri Jiva Goswami vihi Vyakhyatam. Now the commentator Shri Jiva Goswami has explained Shri Krishnasya Rochamana Pravritti. He says that the tendency of a devotee which appears very delightful for Bhagavan is Anukulyam. What does this mean? It means that the devotee should behave in such a way that Shri Krishna should find it very pleasing for himself. Atra Anukulyam na tu Bhakta Paripekshena apitu Bhagavata Paripekshena. Here Anukulyam, favorability, is not from the point of view of the devotee. Favorability is from the point of view of Bhagavan. Krishnasya Rochamana Pravritti. Krishna should feel delighted. Natu Bhakta. It's not that the devotee should feel delighted. Krishnasya Rochamana Pravritti. Rochamana Shabde Shanach Pratyaya Asti. In Rochaman, the term Rochaman, there is the Sanskrit suffix Shanach. Shanach Pratyayena Vartamana Kalasya Bhavaha Avagamyate. The Shanach suffix defines present tense. Satatam Anukulyam. The continuous favorability should be there. Natu Bhutakalika Anukulyam. Not at some point of time in history there was favorability and today there is no favorability. Rochamana Pravritti. Anukulyena Krishnasya Anushilanam. Anukulyena Anukula Bhavena Yena Bhavena Krishnasya Rochamana Pravrittir Bhavati. Tad Bhavena. So, with such a mood which creates favorability within Krishna's mind, Krishnasya Anushilanam and Krishna's Anushilan. Kimatra Anushilana Padam? What is this Anushilan? What does this mean? Anu Muhur Muhur Punah Punah Eva Shilanam. Anu means again and again. And what is Shilanam? Shilanam is to practice any activity. Shilanam. Shil Upadharane iti Chauradika Dhatu. The verbal root in Anushilanam is Shil Upadharane and it belongs to the category of Dhatus Churadigan. Vadyadadi Juhotyadi Divadi Swadirevacha Tudadischa Rudadischa Tanadi Kri Churadayah. So there are 10 classes of verbal roots in Panini's Dhatu part, 10 main classes. Bhwadi, Adadi, Juhotyadi, Divadi, Swadi, Tudadi, Rudadi, Tanadi, Krayadi, Churadi. The 10th category is Churadigan. And then there is the 11th Kandavadigan. And still Dhatu part is an open list. There will be some dhatus which you will not find in the Dhatu part, but there will be there in the other literature or in the Vedas. So Shil Upadharane iti Chauradiko dhatu. That this Shil Upadharane. What is the meaning of the verbal root Shil? Upadharane. What is the meaning of Upadharane? Upadharanam Abhyasah iti Kshira Swami. Kshira Swami is a famous commentator on the Dhatu part. Kshira Swami, what does Kshira Swami says? Shila Upadharane. Pashya, I will please see, all of you see. Shila Upadharane, you can see in front of you. Churadi Gane, Shila Upadharane. Kshira Swami Bhakti, what does Kshira Swami say? Upadharanam Abhyasah. What is the meaning of Upadharanam? Abhyasah, practice. अस्माकं शब्दस्तु अनुशीलनम, पुनः पुनः शीलनम, पुनः पुनः अभ्यासः, अभ्यसनम इति उत्तमा भक्ति. तद अभ्यसनम अपि श्रीकृष्णस्य संबंधेन. That practice is also in relation to Shri Krishna. And tadapi anukula bhavena. And that also is with a mood of favorability. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. So, Anukulyasya bhavam anukulyam. Punaha punaha. Anukula bhavena Shilanam. Sarva kriyanam abhyasanam eva Uttama Bhaktir. So, repeated practice of all activities is Uttama Bhakti. Atra Prashna Śyāmalā mata Anushīlana pade Pujādishu antarbhava bhavati nava bhavati.
Bhavati sarva. Yeah. Sarve.
Sarvasam api kriyanam antarbhava Anushīlanam pade asti eva. So all activities are included within the term Anushilanam. Shri Vyasasya puja, Shri Gargasya katha, Shri Shandilyasya atmarati, sarva eva asmin Anushilana pade antarbhavita bhavanti. So all these are included within the term Anushilanam. Yadyapi, now although Kamsadayopi Krishnasya anu punah punah smaranam kurvanti. Now there are people like Kamsa who repeatedly anu shilanam, they remember Shri Krishna, they perform the activity of remembrance of Krishna. Tarhi tesham anushilanam nasti anukulyana. But their remembrance is not with favorability. Pratyuta pratikulyena eva. On the other hand, their remembrance is with unfavorability. Atah tesham anushilanam uttama bhakti kotav naiva ganitam bhavati. Therefore, their anushilanam, their practice of activities is not counted within the characteristics of Uttama Bhakti, not within the category of Uttama Bhakti. Astu. All right. Anushilana Shabde Sarva Kriyanam Samahara Bhavati. So in this term Anushilanam, all activities have been included. Shri Vyasasya Pujanuragah, Shri Gargasya Kathanuragah, Sarvani Lakshanani Antarbhavitani Bhavanti. So all characteristics are included in this definition. किन्तु श्री व्यासः यद्वक्ति अनुरागः, anuraga, there is the Sri Vyasadeva said anuraga, there should be deep fondness. Asmin vyakhayam, in this definition, anuraga kutra asti, where is anuraga? Anukulya shabdena anurago avagamyate, that by the term anukulya, anurag is also understood favorability. Kimatra anukulyam? Pratikulya shunyatvam eva anukulyam. Absence of unfavorability is favorability. Iti vyakhya kritvihi. The commentators have explained in this way. Tatha Krishna anushilanam iti samasta padasya vigraha dvidha bhavati. Now, the final combined term is Krishna anushilanam. And this Krishna Anushilanam is broken down in two ways, right? So let's break down Krishna Anushilanam in two ways for our audience. Krishna Anushilanam dvidha bhavati asya vigraha. Prathamam, the first way is Krishnam artham Anushilanam. So the first is Krishnam Artham Anushilanam, which means direct service of Krishna. This is the first. Dvitiyam Krishna Sambandhi Anushilanam. Service of any entity related to Krishna. Iti dvidha Krishnanushilanam padasya vigraho bhavati. In this way, in two types, you can break down the term Krishna Anushilanam. Atra Śyāmalā Matar Krishna Bhakta
अव्याप्ति
Krishna
दोषे न
तत्र
अव्याप्ति दोषे न भवति
इति अव्याप्ति दोषस्य परिहारः अनेन भवति कृष्णम अर्थमनुशीलनम कृष्ण संबंधी अनुशीलनम इति कृष्णानुशीलनम मध्यम पदलोपी समासः दिस इज स्पेशल टाइप ऑफ combined term known as madhyam padalopi samas where the middle term goes away. Krishnam artham anushilanam, artham goes away, what remains is Krishna anushilanam. Krishna sambandhi anushilanam, sambandhi goes away, what remains is Krishna anushilanam. So Krishnartham anushilanam, Krishna sambandhi anushilanam iti Krishna anushilanam. So direct service of Krishna or service of any entity related to Krishna, both are Krishna anushilanam. अत्र गुरु सेवा अपि अंतर्भाविता, अत्र मंदिरस्य सेवा अपि अंतर्भाविता, अत्र कृष्ण संबंधी कस्यापि सेवा अंतर्भाविता अस्ति. अतएव अस्यां व्याख्यायाम् अव्याप्ति दोषः नास्ति, नास्ति च अतिव्याप्ति दोषः. So all, even the service of the devotee is included in this definition. Even the service of the temple, just to clean the temple, is also included. Mandira marjanam is also included. And the service of any entity related to Krishna is directly included in this definition. So there is neither the fault of under applicability nor the fault of over applicability in this particular definition. Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhaktir Uttama. This is with favorability, repeated practice of any service activity in relation to Krishna or in relation to any entity related to Krishna is known as Uttamā Bhakti. This is known as Uttamā Bhakti. Spashtamatra, this is very clear. Nasti ekapi kriya ya asyam vyakhyam antarbhavita nasti. There is not a single activity which is not included in this particular definition. Atha, now, यद्यपि आनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनम इति उत्तमा भक्तेर मुख्य लक्षणम. Although the main characteristic of Uttama Bhakti is Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam, tathapi kīdrisham anushīlanam. But still, what is the further nature of this Anushīlanam? What is the further nature of this repeated service? Please define more. No, we still feel there is something lacking. Iti apekshayam sati, when this expectation arises. अस्या उत्तमाया भक्तेर द्वे गौण लक्षणे श्री गोस्वामी चरणैर युज्येते. So when this expectation arises, Shri Rupa Goswami, the respected Shri Rupa Goswami, adds two secondary characteristics. What are the two secondary characteristics? Anyabhilashita shunyam tatha jnana karma adi anavritam. द्वे लक्षणे कृष्णानुशीलनस्य वैशिष्ट्यं दर्शयतः. These two characteristics are showing the speciality of Krishna Anushilanam. So these two characteristics are further enhancing Krishna Anushilanam. So Vaishishtyam, Krishna Anushilanasya Vaishishtyam, the speciality of Krishna Anushilanam is first Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, second Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. Tayor Anyataraha Lakshanam. Now amongst these two, one characteristic, first characteristic, Anyabhilashita Shunyam. Arthat, what is the meaning of this characteristic? Bhakti Paripanthi Vancha Shunyam. Bhakti Paripanthi. Paripanthi अर्थात विरोधी. Bhakti Virodhi Vancha Shunyam. Krishnanushīlanam. Krishnanushīlanasya Vaishishtyam. Bhakti Virodhi Vancha Shunyam Krishna Anushilanam. What does this mean? That Krishna Anushilanam which is devoid of any desires unfavorable to bhakti. It is specializing Krishna Anushilanam actually. It is specializing Krishna Anushilanam. Yatah Krishna Anushilanam आनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनम उद्देश्यः उत्तमा भक्तिर विधेयः. Because the subject is Uttama Bhakti and the predicate is Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam. The main subject is Uttama Bhakti. And what is Uttama Bhakti? Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam. And Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam iti dve lakshane Krishnanushīlanasya Vaishishtyē. They are highlighting the specialized characteristics of Krishnanushīlanam. Anyataraha lakshanam jnana karma adi anavritam. So second characteristic is jnana karma adi anavritam. Jnana atra nirbheda brahma anusandhanam eva. What is the meaning of the term jnana here? So jnana here, Sri Jiva Goswami Bhakti, Sri Jiva Goswami says, jnana here is nirbheda brahma anusandhanam. Jnana is to dive into impersonal Brahma. Nirbheda Brahma anusandhanam. Tattvamasi. Aham Brahmasmi. Prajnanam Brahma. Iti abheda vakyanam anusandhanam. Punah punah chintanam. Punah punah mananam. Nididhyasanam. Iti jnana shabdena kathinamasti. What is being spoken about? What is the meaning of jnana here? To repeatedly meditate upon, think about, and repeat the statements. Aham Brahmasmi. Tattvamasi. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. All these statements. That is what is counted as jnana here. Bhakti Vishayaka Jnanam na atra jnana shabdena nirdishta asti. So that bhakti jnana which is related to bhakti is not indicated by the term jnana here. Jnana karma adi anavritam. Arthat कृष्णानुशीलन रूपा उत्तमा भक्ति ही कदापि कर्मभिः परिभूता नैव भवति. So, Uttama Bhakti never gets defeated by Vedic or Laukika karmas, which means some people who start thinking that Vedic karmas are greater than Bhakti, that cannot be Uttama Bhakti. Jnanena va paribhuta naiva bhavati. And Bhakti also should not get overshadowed by Jnana, that Brahma Jnana is superior to Bhakti. That cannot be Uttama Bhakti. Bhaktistu sarvatishaini. Bhakti is superior to all other philosophies. Jnana phalam moksham api anadritya sarvotkarshena vartate. Bhakti actually trivializes even the result of Gyan, which is moksha. Ata eva sarvatishaini. Therefore, Bhakti is reigning supremely over everyone else. अतः कोपि शुद्ध भक्तः कदापि इति न वदति यत् ज्ञानं तु भक्तेः श्रेष्ठं कर्माणि भक्तेः प्रशस्तानि. So no pure devotee says that Gyan is superior to Bhakti. Vedic karma, Laukik karmas are superior to Bhakti. अत्र आदिपदेन ज्ञान कर्म आदिपदेन सांख्य योगादयो निर्दिष्टाः भवन्ति. So by the term Adi, other philosophies such as Sankhya, Yoga, Jyotish, etc. are indicated. Atah Shuddha Bhaktah Kadapi Naiva Bhakti. Therefore, a pure devotee never says Sankhya, Yogadayo Bhaktehe Shreshtha. That Sankhya, Yoga, etc. are greater than Bhakti. Naiva Vadati. Kadapi Naiva Vadati. He never says like this. Mishra Bhaktastu Kadachit Vadati eva. Mixed devotee sometimes says that Jnanam tu Bhakti Shreshtam, that Jnana is superior to Brahma, Jnana is superior to Bhakti. Karmani Bhakti Shreshtani, that karmas are superior to Bhakti. But Shuddha Bhakta tu Kadapi Naiva Vadati itivat. Pure devotee never speaks like this at any point of time. Evam, in this way, gauna lakshana dvaya yuktena anukulyena krishnanushilanam eva uttama bhaktir iti nishchitam. Now it is hence determined that favorable repeated service in relation to Krishna or in relation to any entity of Krishna, along with these two secondary characteristics, is uttama bhakti. इति भक्तेः सर्वातिशायिनी व्याख्या श्री रूप गोस्वामी भी कृता. This supreme definition of bhakti has been composed by Shri Rupa Goswami. अन्य संप्रदायाणाम आचार्यैर अपि इयं व्याख्या एव उद्धृता तेषां तेषां ग्रंथे. So by the acharyas of other sampradayas also, this definition of bhakti has been invoked many times to define what is bhakti. Iti shrutva, hearing this, Gaudiya Vaishnavanam madhye mahan pramodah jayate. That there is immense happiness that occurs for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. अस्य व्याख्यायाः विशदीकरणं तु ममापि महान् प्रमोदस्य महत् प्रमोदस्य विषय. So this to explain this definition of bhakti is also great source of happiness for me. अतः अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यं ज्ञान कर्मादि अनावृतम् आनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनं भक्तिर् उत्तमा इति भक्तेः सर्वदेशीया सर्वांगीणा सर्वातिशायिनी व्याख्या अस्माकं समक्षे श्री रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपादैः कृता. So this definition, अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यम ज्ञान कर्मादि अनावृतम आनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनम भक्तिरुत्तमा, has been presented in front of us by the respected Shri Rupa Goswami. Iti व्याख्यानेन Dhanyosmi. I am truly honored by this explanation. अतएव अहं पुनः मातरं श्यामलां प्रति धन्यवादं समर्पयामि. Therefore, once again I am offering profuse thanks to Śyāmalā Mataji and Sarvebhyo Namo Namaha and repeated obeisances to all of you again. Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Punaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hare Krishna. Dhanyavad. Thank you so much.
हरे कृष्ण महोदय बहु अद्भुततया लाइक विवरणं दत्तवान् भवान् बहु गभीरतया अपि एषः श्लोकः वयमपि अस्माभिरपि चर्चितं परन्तु एतद् विहङ्गवीक्षणम् इति कारणेन एतत् स्पृष्ट्वा गतवन्तः परन्तु इदानीम् अस्माकं बहु सन्तोषः गभीरतया द्रष्टुम् अवकाशः लभ्यते इति. Yeah, we are so fortunate to have, we discussed this shloka also in, obviously in Gaudiya Darshanam as a main pinnacle thing. But because it's a overview, so we didn't spend much time, but this is like a, what to say, the cherry on the cake. We laid out the cake and Prabhuji is coming at the last session and is giving the beauty to the cake. And so we are so fortunate to have heard this.
Mama Mahan Pramoda, for me it is great source of joy. Samprati aham Angla bhashayam kathayam. Now I will speak mainly in English language. प्रश्नोत्तरस्य कालः आगतः अस्ति. So there is now the time for question and answers has arrived. अतः अहम् आङ्ग्लभाषायाम् एव वदामि. So I am now speak only in English language, or mainly in English language. So we can begin with Q&A.
Yeah. So please raise your hands in Zoom. I will call out each one so there's no contention. Whoever wants to ask questions, you can speak in English. So it's okay. First we have Radha Vallabhadas, Prabhuji.
Radhika Vallabh Prabhu. ISKCON Chowpatty Mandirasya Brahmachari Shri Radhika Vallabh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Pranam Prabhu. Thank you very much for such a nice explanation, Prabhu. I have one question. We have heard that when Draupadi called out to Krishna for protection, apparently it is like for a self-protection, to protect her dignity. So, but we still say that she, by that act, she did not disqualify herself as being a pure devotee. Externally, it appears like Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. She has some desire apart from the desire to please Krishna. How do we explain from the verse point of view that how her act of calling out for Krishna's protection is not does not fall outside the realm of Uttamā Bhakti?
So, Bahusebichinam, very nice question. We have said that one of the characteristics of bhakti is anyabhilashita shunyam, that bhakti should be free from all desires which are obstructive to bhakti. But the desire for self-preservation, the desire for preservation of self-dignity, as was seen in Draupadi. So these desires are seen in Draupadi. Then how can we say that her execution of bhakti is anyabhilashita shunyam? Answer to this question is that in the term anyabhilashita, the suffix itach has been used. The suffix itach comes from the Panini Sutra. What is the Panini Sutra? I am sharing. Tadasya sanjatam tarakadibhya itach. This is the sutra. tad asya sanjatam tarakadibhya itach. That something has arisen, something has grown, something is appearing, produced. So in this context, you can use the suffix itach. So anya abhilashita. So other desires have appeared. Now appeared means then fully appeared, they are still appearing. Iti ityasmin sandarbh, they are, other desires are appearing. Tena shunyam, which means devoid of other desires which are appearing, which means there is a sense of incompleteness there in that suffix itach, which means some scope has been left out. And therefore Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti in his commentary on this verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he takes up this suffix itach and he explains it. I will share my screen so that we can have a look and we can see exactly what he says. I am sharing my screen and we can have a look at this particular. Yeah. In the commentary, he says, यथा अन्यत्र अभिलाष शून्यत्वं विहाय अन्य अभिलाष स्वभावार्थक ताच्छील्य प्रत्ययेन भक्तस्य कदाचित् अकस्मात् मरण संकटे प्राप्ते. Akasmat, marana sankate prapte. If at certain point of time the devotee's life is threatened, हे भगवन भक्तम माम एतद् विपत्तेः सकाशाद् रक्ष इति कादाचित् का अभिलाष सत्वेपि नक्षतिः. O Bhagavan, rescue me, your devotee, from this calamity. If some urgent calamity arises, then therefore it does not harm the Uttama nature of bhakti. So our desires made in urgency for self-protection, self-preservation, there is a small window of opportunity for those desires to still come through the definition of Uttama Bhakti. Secondly, I said this is a secondary characteristic. What is the meaning of secondary characteristic? Gauna Lakshanam. Gauna Lakshanam means that sometimes it may be present, sometimes it may not be present. Classic example of Mukhya Lakshanam and Gauna Lakshanam. I will give one classic example of Mukhya Lakshanam and Gauna Lakshanam. It will help everybody understand very clearly. For example, I want to visit my friend Mohan in his village. But I don't know where his home is. So I enter his village and I ask, Kutra Mohanasya Griham, where is the home of Mohan? In reply, they say that you try to find that particular house on which maximum number of parrots are sitting. That is Mohan's home. Because Mohan loves parrots, so Mohan has collected many parrots on top of his home. So that is Mohan's home. So I go in the village, I find the home which has maximum number of parrots. Oh wow, that is actually Mohan's home. But is this a secondary characteristic, Gauna Lakshanam, or primary, Mukhya Lakshanam? This is Gauna Lakshanam. The reason being, tomorrow if it rains and all the parrots fly away, it is still going to remain Mohan's home. So these are secondary characteristics. Secondary characteristics distinguish one object from all other objects, but they may not always be present. These are secondary characteristics. And what are primary characteristics? If I ask, where is Mohan's home? And somebody says that home which is registered in Mohan's name is Mohan's home. You will see the number of the home number is 1201 and his name is outside the home. That is Mohan's home. Now, if that registration number changes or if the registered name changes, then it will no longer be his home. This is Mukhya Lakshanam. So it is also called as Swarupa Lakshanam. Yal Lakshanam Swarupe Asti, Tat Swarupa Lakshanam. That characteristic which is present in the very intrinsic nature of an entity is called as Swarupa Lakshanam. And Gauna Lakshanam is also known as Tatastha Lakshanam. What is the meaning of Tatastha? It is situated on the bank. Sometimes it is in the river, sometimes it is outside the river. That is the meaning of Tatastha. Sometimes the characteristic is present, sometimes the characteristic is absent. So, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam is considered as secondary characteristic, not primary characteristic. It is Tatastha Lakshanam. Sometimes it will be within the scope of Uttamā Bhakti, sometimes it will be outside the scope of Uttamā Bhakti. For example, Gajendra. For example, Dhruva. Gajendra cried out to Bhagavan to save him from the calamity. Bhagavan, although this is not technically, it should not be within the definition of, within the ambit of Anyabhilashita Shunyam. But still, Bhagavan took it favorably. The main condition is satisfied. Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam. All right. Secondary condition can be optionally given up. Bhagavan immediately came. So secondary condition was neglected. Primary condition Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam was satisfied. And therefore Bhagavan came running to save Shri Gajendra. Similarly, Shri Dhruva. He has a great Anya Abhilash. He immense desires besides bhakti. But still, Bhagavan comes and Bhagavan shows himself to Shri Dhruva and accepts his bhakti within the category of Uttamā Bhakti because favorability is present. But this does not mean that we also can optionally let go of Anyabhilashita Shunyam and optionally we can let go of Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. So it is Bhagavan who will decide whether bhakti is uttama or not. So it is best for us to ensure Anyabhilashita Shunyam is also there and Jnana Karmadi Anavritam is also present within our Anushilanam. Because actually Anyabhilashita Shunyam and Jnana Karmadi Anavritam are qualifying Anushilanam. Anyabhilashita Shunyam Anushilanam. तथा ज्ञान कर्मादि अनावृतम अनुशीलनम इति कृष्ण अनुशीलनम तदपि अनुकूल भावेन कृष्ण अनुशीलनम येन कृष्णस्य रोचमाना प्रवृत्तिर्भवति तद अनुशीलनम एव उत्तमा भक्तिर् इति व्याख्यातम. So this, sorry, once again I went into Sanskrit. Anyabhilashita shunyam and jnana karmadi anavrittam, they are both qualifying anukulyena krishna anushilanam. This is the definition. So secondary characteristics, sometimes Bhagavan can skip, we cannot skip. Sometimes Bhagavan can skip secondary characteristic and Bhagavan can still accept it as Uttama Bhakti. So is the case with Draupadi here. So I hope that answers your query to certain degree of satisfaction.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Such a very comprehensive explanation. It's always a great pleasure listening to you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next we have.
I would like to say that Shri Radhika Vallabh Prabhu himself is a great admirer. He is a great student of Sanskrit language. He has been studying himself very deeply. He's been studying the 6 Sandarbhas very nicely. So, I'd really love to see sometime Radhika Vallabh Prabhu also come to this Gaudiya Darshanam forum and speak sometime. If it is possible, sometime Radhika Vallabh Prabhu, please do take out time and come here and speak. It would be a great honor to listen from you. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji, I was also in touch with Prabhuji and, we had that plan also. Okay, next
Sure.
we have, Radha Kunda Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, and Dr. Pranam Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, as always, Prabhuji. So, I have a question, Prabhuji. As you are explaining from the Narada Pancharatra, there are different definitions of Uttama Bhakti had been given by Vyasadeva, Parashara Muni, Sandilya Muni, Garga Muni, and Narada. And finally, Narada Muni, in the last conclusion, he said that all the definitions are valid, kind of, the definitions are good. Even though they are not actually, including all the characteristics of Uttama Bhakti, Just 550 years back, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada had appeared and he has given the definition of Uttamā Bhakti, which fits into all the characteristics of Uttamā Bhakti, right? So at that particular time, when Narada and all these munis were present, how would actually people, devotees were understanding the definition of Uttamā Bhakti and why they were not able to actually add all the aspects of Uttamā Bhakti, Prabhuji? Thank you so much.
All right. So, see, it is not that Sri Rupa Goswami just defined something new. He refined an existing definition, because in his very definition of Uttamā Bhakti, in the very next verse, he specifies something. I will share my screen and show. So here is the definition of Shri Rupa Goswami: Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. This is the definition of Shri Rupa Goswami. And the immediate next verse he gives Yatha Shri Narada Pancharatre, as it is given in Narada Pancharatra: Sarvopadhi Vinirmuktam Tatparatvena Nirmalam Rishikana Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktiruchyate. Who is building upon this definition? Sarva Upadhi Vinirmuktam, that which is free of all upadhis, of all false designations. Tatparatvena Nirmalam, and that which has been refined by dedication and Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. The main term is Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam, that service of Bhagavan Rishikesha through one's senses is Bhaktir Uchyate, is known as Bhakti. Main term here is Sevanam, whereas Sri Rupa Goswami's term is Anushilanam. You can see is improved upon it, because you can say Sevanam can also mean one-time seva, one-time service of Rishikesha, and then that is Bhakti, and then that should lead to the attainment of Bhagavan. In some cases it does. But Sri Rupa Goswami says no, even after attaining Bhagavan, the Sevanam has to continue. And so Anushilanam, repeated practice of activities in relation to Krishna. So Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Also here it is Bhakti, but Bhakti is of many types. Bhakti in the mode of ignorance, Bhakti in the mode of passion, Bhakti in the mode of goodness, as defined in the 3rd canto of the Bhagavatam. So Sri Rupa Goswami separates his definition and says Uttamā Bhakti. So what Sri Rupa Goswami has done is taken an existing definition from Sri Narad Pancharatra, which is more refined than the definition of Narad Bhakti Sutras, and Sri Rupa Goswami has refined it to such a level that now there is no possibility of including anything else within it. Everything has been covered, nothing left out. 360-degree watertight definition of Uttamā Bhakti has been given, but he is also building upon the definitions of the previous acharyas. So I hope that answers your query to some degree of satisfaction.
Thank you, Prabhu. But one more thing is, like in Srila Rupa Goswami's definition, Anukulyena Krishna Anusilam means not only the favorable service to Krishna constantly, but also to his devotees, right? So that was not included in the earlier definitions of...
No. The earlier definition said Rishikesha Sevanam, and somebody can say it can also break down into 2 ways. Rishikesha Artham Anushil Sevanam, Rishikesha Sambandhi Sevanam. Therefore, I did not take up that point. Whatever Sri Rupa Goswami has clearly improved upon, that I am specifying. Although you are correct in the sense that if you take it as a standard Tatpurush Samas Rishikeshasya Sevanam, then if you take it as a Tatpurush Samas, then only Bhagavan Seva is included there. But it is Sri Jiva Goswami's awesome expertise that he broke it down as Madhyam Pad Lopi Samas and broke it down into 2 ways. So although your point is valid, but that point can apply both to Rishikesha Sevanam and Krishnanushilanam. Therefore, I am not taking up that point specifically. I hope that clarifies.
Okay, but thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Next we have Seema Bhagini. So Seema Bhagini is a regular consistent student of Gaudiya Darshanam. So we can hear what is her question.
Hare Krishna. आंग्लभाषां वदामि अथवा संस्कृतभाषां वदामि वा?
आंग्लभाषा.
अस्तु. Thank you for the presentation. Now, in most Sanatana deities, they have a tantric counterpart. Like Saraswati Devi has Neela Saraswati, Sri Ganesha has Uttishta Ganapati, etc. So each deity has a tantric counterpart. Now, somewhere I came across that on the outskirts of Vrindavana, there are sadhus who do a tantric sadhana of Sri Krishna. So my question is it true? Second, is Ma Kali the tantric counterpart of Sri Krishna, given that the Bijakshara is the same?
All right. So it's a very nice question. Specifically, Shri Krishna has said in the Śrīmad Bhagavatam regarding this, how his worship should be carried out in different yugas. So I will share that pramanam with you so that you can also note down that pramana, and you can look into the commentaries of those pramanas, because there are so many commentaries on the Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Acharyas will explain it in great detail, but I will explain the basic. Here is I am sharing my screen. Śrīmad Bhagavatam Ekadasha Skandha. That this is 11th canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. He is speaking about Dwapar Yuga. Tam tada purusham martya maharajopalakshanam yajanti veda tantrabhyam param jigyasavo nripa. Tam tada purusham, tada Dwapar Yuge. In that age of Dwapar Yuga, purusham, that's supreme Bhagavan, martyaha, all human beings, maharaja upalakshanam, they worship him as a maharaj, as a great king. How do they worship? Yajanti veda tantrabhyam, through the dual path of Vedas and Tantras. So in Dwapar Yuga itself, Vedic plus Tantric modes of worship had started. Param Jigyasavo, they are supremely inquisitive, oh dear king. Previous to this is Treta Yuga. In Treta Yuga, what is given? Treta Yuga, it is specified Tam tada manuja devam. In that Treta Yuga, all human beings worship that Bhagavan. Sarva deva mayam harim. That Bhagavan is Hari. Yajanti vidyaya traya. They worship with Trayi Vidya. So they worship. What is the meaning of Trayi? Some people say Trayi means Rik, Sam and Yaju are Trayi. Some people say Karma Kandamayi Vidya, Jnana Kandamayi Vidya, Upasana Kandamayi Vidya is Trayi. But in Treta Yuga, only Vedic Patha is there. And in Satya Yuga, only Pranav is there, basically. Only worship through Pranav, through utterance of Omkar is there. But in Treta Yuga, the three Vedas come into practice. In Dwapar Yuga, it is not only Vedas, but also Veda Tantrabhyam. Now, we come to the current age of Kali Yuga. And for Kali Yuga, Shri Krishna, it is specified, Iti Dwapar Urvisha, Iti Dwapare, Urvisha, O king, this was about Dwapar Yuga. Stuvanti Jagadishwaram, people worship him that way. Nana Tantra Vidhanena Kalavapi, Tatha Shrinu. And in Kali Yuga, Bhagavan is worshipped through Nana Tantra Vidhanena, through various tantras. So this very well it specifies that Bhagavan is worshipped through the tantric path in this age. Why? Because Vaidika Pathasya Prachuryam Adhyana Asti. There is Vedic path is not so popularly present today, and Vedas are also all the branches. We are struggling to maintain all the branches of the Vedas today. So in Kali Yuga, it is specified clearly in Śrīmad Bhagavatam that in Kali Yuga it is mainly through the path of the tantras. Now, when most people hear about tantras, they have this impression that tantras means uchchatan, maran, black magic of those sorts. But Vamachar. But actually, tantra refers to these Agama Shastra, Pancharatra, Satvika tantras, which are Narada Pancharatra, etc., which are in relation to worship of Bhagavan. So these Satvika tantras, which don't give any activities of Vamachar, which are especially filled with Shuddha Sattva, with the mode of pure goodness. Those tantras are used to worship Shri Krishna in this age of Kali, and those tantras are the primary methods of worshipping Shri Krishna, because in this age the population of Varna Bahyas is greater than those who are within Varnashram. So those who are outside of the Varnashram system, their population is much greater than those who are within the Varnashram system. So naturally, they don't have adhikar for worshipping Bhagwan through Veda marg. For them, Tantra marg is there, because Tantra marg allows even those who are not qualified for Veda marg an entry point and allows them to worship Bhagwan Shri Krishna. But this worship should not be taken as Vamachar Puja, although there are some people who may introduce some Vamachar aspects into Shri Krishna Tantra Puja, but it is not authorized by Shastra. Śrīmad Bhagavatam specifically says about worship of Bhagwan, and I will once again quote that particular verse of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Mumukshavo ghora rupan hitva bhutapathinatha narayana kalaha shanta bhajanti yanusuyavaha. So mumukshavo, those who want the final goal of mukti, those who are they ghora rupan bhutapathin hitva, they give up those ghastly forms of bhutapatis, the other forms of tantric worship, and Narayana Kala Shanta Bhajanti. They worship the Shanta Kala, the very peaceful, very sattvic expansions of Bhagwan Narayan, Anasuyavaha, and they are not asuyuhu. They are not, envious of any deity. They are not envious of any living entity, but they personally worship Shanta. They worship those forms of Bhagwan Narayan, of course, all forms of Bhagwan Narayan which are Shanta, which are very peaceful. So no tantric worship is not encouraged. I mean, this Vamachar tantric worship is not encouraged in relation to Shri Krishna. So that is the
May I
answer to the
just
question.
kindly
Yeah.
scroll a bit so I can see the meaning of that thing, if you don't
Sure.
mind?
Sure.
Kindly.
Yeah, I will.
Ask.
Hmm?
Those of celebration are certainly non-envious.
Yeah, so those ghastly forms of the bhutas, there are some devaganas which which
Lower
are
entities.
so they reject that worship. They reject that. And Śrīmad Bhagavatam also says something about tamasastu rajastasmat sattvam yad brahma darshanam, that parthiva daruno dhumas tasmad agnistrayimaya. It says that similarly, passion, rajas is better than tamas, but goodness, sattva is best, because Brahma darshanam. Only by goodness one comes to realize the absolute truth. Sattva gunam. So Shuddha Sattva is essential for realizing Parama Satyam. Param Satyam cannot be realized by Rajogun, by Tamogun. Rajogunamai Puja, Tamogunamai Puja cannot help one realize Shashvat Satyam. So that is very clearly established in the Bhagavatam. And the Śrīmad Bhagavatam is the standard text for the Bhagavata Dharma. And therefore, there may be Tantric Puja, but Tantric Puja is the default in Kali Yuga for Shri Krishna too. But that is Satvata Tantra, or those are Tantras in mode of pure goodness. And Srila Sridhar Swami, the commentator on Śrīmad Bhagavatam, when he commented on that verse, Nana Tantra Vidhanena, he said, Iti Kalau Tantra Margasya Pradhanyam Darshayati. This shows the primariness of the precedence of the path of tantras in the age of Kali. So I hope that clarifies. You can look up the commentary of Srila Sridhar Swami on that Nana Tantra Vidhanena in 11th canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. So I hope that answers your query.
Dhanyosmi. Then Kali and Krishna, given the Bijashara is the same, what is the connection? May I know?
Oh, yes. Wonderful. So I surmise that you are referring to the Klim Bijakshar. Yes, all right. So this Bijakshar is also mentioned in the Gopal Tapani Upanishad. So Gopal Tapani Upanishad, which is an Upanishad which is related to Shri Krishna. In the Gopal Tapani Upanishad, this Bijakshar claim has been taken up, and I will point out in the Gopal Uttar Tapani, I think it is mentioned about claim. I will very quickly try to find it and share it. Yes. क्लीं ओंकारयोर एकत्वं वदन्ति ब्रह्मवादिनः. Let me find this. Yes, this is Gopal Tapani, Uttar Tapani, and this is what it says. This is Uttar Tapani Gopal. Klim Omkarayo Ekatvam Vadanti Brahmavadina. So actually, what is mentioned as Klim, the Tantric Bija, is non-different from Pranav. And this is Brahmavadina. Those who know the supreme truth, they understand this fact. This is directly a quote from Shruti. This is from Gopal Tapani Upanishad. So, since actually it is non-different from Pranava, and Pranava contains all manifestations of the Vedas. Therefore, sometimes you will see Klim being used for Devi, sometimes you will see Klim being used for Hari. Both instances you will see. Why? Because Klim is non-different from Pranav. So, Klim will be used in, you will see Klim in also other deities. It is non-different from Pranav, and it is specified in the Gopal Tapani Upanishad. Klim Omkarayo Ekatvam Vadanti Brahmavadina. Uttar Tapani, Gopal Tapani. You can look up the commentaries on this verse also. Okay.
So the claim that if we worship Kali, that's a tantric swarupa of Krishna, won't hold any water, I suppose.
If you worship Kali as a Shakti of Bhagavan, because you have to see some distinction between Bhagavan and Shakti. That is how worship of Shakti Tattva works. If you say that Shakti is non-different from Bhagavan, then you are seeing Abheda. But if you are seeing Bheda, that is how Bhakti works. And that is the speciality of Bhakti is in Dvaita, not in Advaita. In seeing Dvaita, there is a speciality of Bhakti, not in seeing Advaita between Shakti and Shaktiman Shri Bhagavan. So those who are saying that by worshipping Kali, we are worshipping Bhagavan, ultimately they are adhering to the Advaita point of view. Now it is okay, they may adhere to Advaita point of view. But whenever Advaita comes up, non-differences come up, speciality is erased, Vaishishtyam is erased. And then what happens is that bhakti for one person becomes bhakti for another person. And then we start saying that this person and this person have the same likings. Why? Because both of them are the same eventually. If both of them are the same, then what is the topmost level of reality? Well, then they say Brahma is the topmost level of reality. And then this goes against the definition of bhakti, because according to bhakti, Bhagavan is supposed to be the topmost level of reality, not Brahma. Brahmano hi pratisthaham, as Bhagavan has said in the Gita, that I am the substratum of the impersonal Brahman attribute. And so that will not be maintained in case we start saying that Kali is equal to Krishna. So Kali is a Shakti of Krishna. And there are statements. I will support this understanding that you gave in the Brahma Samhita. There is a statement that Sri Jiva Goswami quotes. I will share this Gautamiya Kalpa reference from which Sri Jiva Goswami quotes in his Brahma Samhita commentary. He says, Ata evoktam Gautamiya Kalpe, Yaha Krishna Saiva Durga Syat, Ya Durga Krishna eva saha. So, Anayor Antaradarshi Samsara no Vimuchyate. Now, you can easily understand the meaning of this verse. Yaha Krishna Saiva Durga Syat, that he who is Krishna is Durga. Ya Durga Krishna eva saha, and she who is Durga is Krishna. Anayor Antaradarshi, anybody who sees difference between both of them, samsara no vimuchyate, cannot get liberated from samsara. See, a Vaishnavacharya is taking up a verse like this. It shows the broad-mindedness of him, that he's also willing to take up this Abheda Paksha. And he says, excellent point, isn't it? So he says, Atra Swayameva Shri Krishna's Tatra Swarupa Shakti Rupena Durga Nam iti. You have to see non-difference, but you also need to see some difference, because you need to acknowledge that she is Shakti. You need to acknowledge that she has a separate identity besides Krishna. Otherwise, the feminine entities will stop having separate identities besides Krishna, and then you will have to say that the feminine entity is ultimately included in the masculine entity, and the masculine entity is ultimately included in the neuter gendered Brahman. And so, that if you start rolling up like that, then ultimately you are left with the impersonal Brahman. So therefore, to maintain the distinction of the feminine entity, to maintain the speciality of the feminine entity, you must see through a Bheda perspective instead of seeing through an Abheda perspective. I hope that answers your query. Right.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Other questions I can email you
Sure.
later, probably.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hare Krishna. Next, Prabhuji, Narsima Krishna has a follow-up question on Seema Bhagini. Narsima, unmute and speak.
Prabhuji, can the devotees worship Nrsimhadev also?
Can a devotee worship Nrsimhadev? Of course. Why can't a
No,
devotee not
because
worship?
he came and showed me his question, because you said, ghastly forms should be avoided, no? So he
Yeah.
was saying, oh, Nrsimhadev looks so ferocious and
Yeah.
scary, like that.
But Nrsimhadev is scary for whom? For his devotees or for the Dveshis? Is he scary? Nrsimhadev is scary not for the Dveshis. And therefore, there's a very nice verse by Srila Sridhar Swami. I will quote this verse. Here is it. I am sharing this particular verse. It is originally composed by Srila Sridhar Swami. Ugropi anugra evayam svabhaktanam nrakeshari. Keshariva swapotanam anyesham ugra vikramaha. This is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but originally this is a verse by Srila Sridhar Swami. It is quoted in his commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9.1. Ugropi anugra eva ayam narakeshari. He is very fierce, but he is very gentle for his devotees. He is Narakeshari, he is Narahari, Shri Narsimhadev. Keshariva swapotanam, just as a lioness, Keshari, is for her cubs. So please tell me, Narsimha Krishna Prabhu, a lioness, is she fierce for her cubs, or does she act gently towards her cubs? Please tell me.
Gently.
Gently. So just as the cub perceives her mother to be very gentle, although she is a lioness, similarly devotees such as Shri Prahlad perceive Bhagwan to be very gentle, although towards entities such as Shri Hiranyakashipu he is very fierce. So, and there are also many manifestations of Sri Narsimhadev, which is Yoga Narsimha, Shanta Narsimha, which are like completely in the mode of like they are not even expressing any hostility towards Hiranyakashipu. And there are many forms of Sri Narsimhadev like that in his peaceful demeanor. But then there is Ugra Narsimha, etc., which are very hostile, but hostile towards Hiranyakashipu. So, for towards the devotees like yourself, your name is Narsimha Krishna, towards devotees like yourself, there is no hostility of Bhagwan at all. All right. So you be rest assured that he will never turn hostile towards you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Prabhuji, Lakshmi Narsimha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. Such a wonderful class, Prabhuji. I have been following you from Upadeshamrita series, but unfortunately I'm in New Zealand, so every time I'm here, I follow your class next day through recordings, and it's so good. I got opportunity to listen to your class live, and you are one of my inspiration to start learning Sanskrit, Prabhuji, and I'm really thankful for you. Prabhuji, my question is regarding the Jnana Karma Anavritam. It's regarding the karma part. In the commentary, Srila Jiva Goswami mentions karma cha atra smriti adi vuktam nitya naimittikadi na to bhajaniya paricharyadi. So he's saying the karma anavritam is basically the karma mentioned in the Smriti and in the Smriti Shastra, such as nitya and naimittika karmas. But if we look into Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji, in chapter 18.7, mentions that only the kamya karma, kamyasya karmanah bandhakatva tyagah yuktah. Nityasya nitya naimittikasya na upapadyate.
Okay. We are losing you in between, Prabhu. So can you explain again what Gita says in the 18th? Whose commentary are you citing from the 18th chapter?
Can you hear me now, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Yeah. Swami Baladev Vidyabhushan in 18.7, he mentions that only the kamya karmas, because of its nature to be bound, should be tyajate, but you should not leave the nitya and naimittika karma. But again in 18.64, he says sarva dharman parityajya, where they say, like, karmas, you should forsake all the karmas but just perform, sharanagati. But the question now is, Prabhuji, like, when I perform Sandhya Vandanam or, perform other karmas, but with the thought that, like, at last we say Kayena Vacha, Manasa Indriyerva, Buddhyatmanava, and Sakalam Parasmi Narayana, and even in Sandhya Vandanam, we'll say, just like all the water flows to the ocean, Sarvadeva Namaskara, Shri Keshavam Pratigachati, So whatever Namaskaram I'm performing to the Devas, it's actually to the Antaryami Shri Krishna who is within all of them. So at what point, because we are all practicing sadhakas with the intention that we want to attain pure bhakti, so we want to start practicing now. So how do I know whether should I perform these karmas or should I not perform? Because some say you should not perform these Sandhya Vandanams and everything. But personally, I feel like I should perform because Krishna mentions in Gita as a one form of Bhagavad Aradhanam. So how should I take it, Prabhuji?
All right. So let me try to simplify the query. So in Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. Anavritam means it is not covered by Jnana, Karma, etc. Now, Sri Rupa Goswami could have said Jnana Karmadi Shunyam. He could have said Jnana Karma, etc. should be Shunya, should be zero. Just like he said Anyabhilashita Shunyam. Similarly, for Jnana Karmadi also he could have said Shunyam. But instead of saying Jnana Karmadi Shunyam, Sri Rupa Goswami said Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. It is not covered, shrouded, camouflaged by Jnana, Karma, etc. Why was a certain window opened for Jnana, Karma and other philosophies? The reason why, you quoted the commentary that, for Bhakti Paricharya, for serving Bhagwan, you need to have certain karma, Nitya karma, Naimittik karma. For example, every day you wake up, you take Snan. Snan is Nitya karma. It is Vedic karma. It is originally come from the Vedas. So you require Snana karma in order to worship Bhagwan. So that karma does not go against bhakti. It is an assistant to bhakti. That is what it is called as Sangha Siddha Bhakti. Sri Jiva Goswami calls it Sangha Siddha Bhakti in the Bhakti Sandarbha. Then there is Naimittika karma, certain karmas which arise only when the nimitta arises, only when a particular occasion arises. For example, somebody wants to conduct Shanti Home. You want to conduct Shanti Home in your house for the purpose of ensuring peace, or because it is family tradition, or because family is insisting you should conduct a Shanti Home. So when you perform such karma, but Bhagwan is saying Sarva Dharman Paritya, give up everything. When he is saying give up everything, Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan is saying give up Kamya Karma, Nitya Naimittika you should do. How should you do Nitya Naimittika Karma? You should do Nitya Naimittika Karma by giving up Phala Abhisandhi, the desire for receiving any fruitive result. When you perform any karma, but there is no Phala Abhisandhi, when there is no desire to attain any fruit in result for that karma becomes like a fried seed. It does not generate any fruitive result. When you fry or boil a particular seed, you plant it in the ground, although you have planted the seed in the ground, but it does not lead to any sprouting of any germination of a plant. Similarly, when you are performing Nitya Naimitika karmas, but with the mood of Loka Samgraha, I only want to do to preserve my family tradition. I have no interest in getting any Laukika results, any results out of it. Why? Because as soon as you have a desire, I want a result from this. For fulfilling the desire, you will need a body, and for that body, you will need to take birth again. Because of taking birth again, there will be dukkha, and there will be Bhagavad Viyog, there will be separation from Bhagavan. So you don't need there, because you don't want dukkha, you don't want Bhagavad Viyog, therefore you don't want a body. You don't want a body. For that, you should not have any vasana, any karmashay, which is called. So therefore, for this reason, it is very important that you perform your activities with a spirit of phalabhisandhi rahityam, that it is devoid of the tendency to get any specific worldly results from this particular activity. And then Shri Krishna says another thing, which I will share a quote from Srimad Bhagavatam. How long should I continue to perform it? Shri Krishna says in the 11th canto to Shri Uddhav, and it is 11th canto, 20th chapter, verse number 9. I will share my screen, and he says this thing: Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyeta yavata. Tavat karmani kurvita. Perform karmani, perform your Vedic and Lokic activities, na nirvidyeta yavata, till you are not completely detached from it, till you are not completely detached. Or this is for the Jnana Margi. For the Bhakti Margi, mat katha shravanadau va shraddha yavan na jayate. Or till you don't have complete faith that Krishna Katha is the only thing that you need, you don't need anything else for attaining the highest goal of your life. And still, even after attaining this stage, you may perform your Sandhya Vandanam, etc. Because sometimes you may start seeing that Sandhya Vandan as being favorable to your bhakti. What is Sandhya Vandan? Sandhya Vandan is upasana of the three deities of the three Sandhyas, Gayatri, Savitri, Saraswati. Especially with the Brahma Gayatri, you are worshipping Bhagavan Surya. But you know who else worships Bhagavan Surya? Sri Radha worships Bhagavan Surya. So, Sri Radha is an ardent worshipper of Bhagavan Surya. In the mood of assisting Sri Radha, if you say that I am worshipping Bhagavan Surya as a method of assistance to Sri Radha, then your utterance of Brahma Gayatri also becomes favorable to your path of bhakti. Then you never need to give it up till the end of your life, because phala abhisandhi rahitam. It is free from desire for personal gain. So I hope that explains,
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Just a
Thank
small
you.
follow-up question. It's not a big one.
Sure. Sure.
So yeah, this was the follow-up question because I was about to ask regarding the 11.20 where Krishna says, until you attain the faith on my stories, you can keep performing karmas. So the faith, it is subjective. So for example, let's take a devotee has faith in Krishna, and then for some reason he couldn't perform the karma, for example, Sandhya Vandanam or something for that 1-2 Sandhyas. Because in one of your previous classes, you mentioned Nitya karmas don't give you any fruit when you perform it, but when you miss it, you get papam out of it. But since the person is already performed bhakti, so by missing this Nitya karmas, is that going to affect his bhakti? Is that going to cover the bhakti, or that would not cover the bhakti?
If there is accidental lapse of any karma, if there is any accidental lapse, then it does not lead to a fault. In the 11th canto, 29th chapter itself, Bhagavan says, Nahi anga upakrame dhvamso madharmasya uddhavanvapi maya vyavasitah samyak nirgunatvad anashishah. And he says that because I have personally established this process, it is free from any material motivation. Devotee does not suffer even the slightest loss, because even anga vaikalya, even a little, if some limb of that, if your practice is missing, still Bhagavan takes care of it, provided that it is not deliberately done. That's all.
Okay,
you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji. Next, we have Yadupati Hari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanarpanam. Thank you so much for
Right.
wonderful class present. I also have the almost same question, like just small follow-up. Like Tavat Karmani Kurvita Nanirvita Yavata. Matkata Shravanado, like Shraddha. You mentioned that Shraddha. As long as that Shraddha is not attained, we might be doing some Lokic karma also. But like we are adding some karma anga or jnana anga. So this is like, as you explained, either Sangha Siddha or Aropa Siddha. But
Sangha
so
Siddha.
this
Sangha Siddha. Yes. Arop
Sangha Siddha,
Siddha
but
is
this
Arop Siddha is different category. Sangha Siddha is
offering.
different. Yeah. Arop Siddha is when you perform karma for your own happiness. Basically, you perform karma and then the result you dedicate. Bhagavan, I did this for you. Like this is Arop, allegation. You know this. Kayena vacha manasendriyairva buddhyat karo yat yat. Yat to papamapi karoshi. You are doing many. Sometimes you may be doing some forbidden activity. Sarvam Narayana samarpayami. Everything I offer to Bhagavan Narayana. That is Arop Siddha Bhakti. Sangha Siddha Bhakti is when favorability towards bhakti is already established. You are using karma and gyan as assistants of bhakti. That is Sangha Siddha Bhakti. All right, please continue.
So these two bhaktis, Arop Siddha and Sangha Siddha, like more or less, like will not completely come into the pure devotional service. Like only when Shraddha is attained, then the full form of pure devotional service will manifest through. As like because we yes.
No. What is Sangha Siddha Bhakti? You are using karma as an assistant to bhakti. Or you are using gyan as an assistant to bhakti. When you are using karma as assistant, gyan as an assistant, who is prominent? Bhakti is prominent or karma gyan are prominent? Please tell me.
Bhakti is prominent.
Bhakti. So it does not break the condition of jnana, karma, adi, anavritam. I hope you are able to understand. As long as anukulyena krishnanushilanam is there, Sangha Siddha Bhakti is also within the ambit of Uttamā Bhakti. But Arop Siddha Bhakti is in a different category altogether. What is the meaning of Arop?
Offering. Allegation.
Superimpose.
Allegation. Superimposition. Or you can in common language you say attribution or allegation. That is what is Arop basically. So activities which are basically karma. You just do the arop of the activity, karma, and the karma phala. You arop on. Shri Krishnaya Swaha, Idam Krishnaya, Idam Namama. So this, I give this, although you wanted it yourself, but then just because you wanted to, what do you say, plaster it with Krishna Bhakti, you just did, Idam Shri Krishnaya, Idam Namama. It is for Shri Krishna, not for me. In that sort of, all activities are included in that Arop Siddha Bhakti. All activities are included. Sometimes even some negative activities may be included. That's a different discussion altogether. What to do with negative activity. But Sangha Siddha Bhakti can come within the ambit of Uttama. That is what I am trying to say here.
So just one small follow-up is, even if we use Lokic karma also as assistant to bhakti, that also comes under the ambit of pure devotion service.
Question here will be, does Shastra mention any specific Laukika karma as assistant of bhakti? Shastra mentions Vedic karma as assistant to bhakti. For example, taking a snan, that is Vedic karma, it is assistant to bhakti. If Shastra mentions a Laukika karma as being assistant to bhakti, then certainly that Laukik karma can come within the ambit of Sangha Siddha Bhakti. Primarily, Shastra mentions Vedic karma as assistant to bhakti because Vedic karma is Shruti, Smriti, Uktam. It is mentioned in Shruti and Smriti. I hope you are able to understand. Still, I am not fully closing the window of Laukik karma. There may be some Laukik karma which may be favorable to Bhagavan, but then that karma will not be all applicable because one person's Laukik karma is different from another person's Laukik karma. But Shruti Smriti karma, Shruti Smriti Ukta karma is almost similar for everybody. I hope you are able to. So therefore, we can't make judgments about Laukik karma, but Shruti Smriti Vedic karma is applicable to everybody and it is certainly an assistant to Uttamā Bhakti. Right?
Yes, understand.
So, Prabhuji, it's 9:06. How long you can go? I'm not sure. What's your time limit?
I'm okay. I let the devotees who want to ask the question, let them ask a question.
Okay.
That's not an issue.
Okay. So I have one question, Prabhuji.
Sure.
So this is related to your previous Shikshashtakam lecture about the Arthavada, no? So there it is proved that, there is no Arthavada with respect to holy name. That holy name is independently given the authority to remove the karma and sinful reactions of the person.
Yeah.
And now I'm relating that with the, the six lakshana of the Uttamā Bhakti, Kleshagni, where Shrupa Goswami defines the aprarabdha, prarabdha karma, nashaha, gradually, and he proves using the verses, everything, how it happens. Now the question is, when that the Kleshagni happen, is it at a particular moment of initiation? For example, Diksha, Nama, Diyate, they get the divine knowledge and this thing. Or is it a gradual process of removing the prarabdha, aprarabdha karma? And also, if the holy name is independently allowed to remove the karma, then does it make a Diksha unnecessary?
Yeah. So how long does it take for karma to fully get exhausted by execution of bhakti? And the answer is given by Sri Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu commentary. Kramena praliyeta Vishnu Bhakti Ratatmanam. I will share the screen. So Sri Rupa Goswami says Padma Purane cha in the Padma Puran, aprarabdha phalam papam Kutam bijam phalonmukham kramenaiva praliyeta Vishnu Bhakti Ratatmanam. Kramenaiva, sequentially, what is destroyed? First is aprarabdha, sanchit pap is destroyed. Then Kutam bijam phalonmukham. Then gradually prarabdha pap is destroyed. So first aprarabdha is destroyed and then gradually prarabdha is destroyed. Kramenaiva praliyeta. Kramenaiva. So in in the commentary, Shri Jiva Goswami says Kramena Purva Purva Anukramena. So the first one is destroyed first, and the latter one is destroyed next. So first aprarabdha is destroyed, then prarabdha is destroyed. But Tathapi Purvoktam, Bhagavatam has said Sadyah Savanaya Kalpate. Immediately reactions are destroyed. Iti Kamala Patra Shata Vedha Nyayana Kinchit Kala Vilambo Gyeya iti. So if you are given 100 lotus petals, and you have to pierce it through a needle. So although you put the needle very quick, it comes out on the other end very quickly. But it depends on how long the needle is. If the needle is very long, it can pierce through 100 lotus petals at once. If the needle is very small, it will take some time to pierce through 100, even though they are lotus petals. The analogy is given that bhakti is like the needle and karmas are like lotus petals. So how easy it is for a needle to pierce through lotus petals is very easy for a needle to pierce through it. But number of petals is 1,000 or 100, and that takes up a lot of space. And you have a small needle, so then kinchit kala vilambo, some time is required to pierce through them. But if you have a very long and sharp needle with you, in a single piercing you can do it. And you can't force bhakti to be dependent upon diksha, etc. Although diksha is recommended, it is almost compulsory like that. But bhakti is not specifically, or Krishna Nam is specifically not limited by the process of diksha, etc. No diksham, na cha satkriyam, na cha purascharya mana dikshate. Bhakti does not, Bhagwan's Nam does not expect even diksha at certain points of time. But this does not mean that diksha should be done away with. Right? For example, knowledge does not depend on attending a school. It doesn't mean that we stop attending a school. So, similarly, somebody who may not be attending a school may also be very knowledgeable. In fact, more knowledgeable than a person who does not attend school. But still, the heavy recommendation of Shastra is, so a heavy recommendation of the worldly people is you attend a school. Similarly, exhaustion of papa is not dependent on Diksha, but the heavy recommendation of Shastra is that you take Diksha. So that is what can be said in this regard. I hope that answers your query.
Yes, Prabhuji. One more related question, Prabhuji. We have heard so many times that the moment of Diksha, the Sanchit Karma is taken by the Guru, and or it's put on hold, so that later if we fall down or something, it again starts acting. So is there any Shastra Pramana for that, Prabhuji? Like that Guru really takes the karma? I
There
never.
is a praman in the Hari Bhakti Vilas about the karma of the disciple and the Guru. I will point out this particular verse. Ragi Chamatyajam. Yes, Ragi Chamatyaja dosha. I am sharing the verse. This is Hari Bhakti Vilas. First Vilas, first chapter, verse 77. Ragi Chamatyaja dosha patni papam swabhartari तथा शिष्यार्जितम पापम गुरु प्राप्नोति निश्चितम. So it is given here very clearly. तथा शिष्य अर्जितम पापम गुरु प्राप्नोति निश्चितम. So definitely one should know that Guru certainly attains the negative reactions committed by the disciple. Now, question arises, which pap? The pap committed by disciple in the past, or the pap which the disciple will commit after taking Diksha? So an indication is given by Sri Sanatana Goswami. Guruna tu avashyameva shishya pariksha karya. Atra hetum aha. This is the reason here. The reason here is that Guru should check a disciple before accepting a disciple. If the Guru does not check the disciple, because the previous activities or previous sinful activities will be taken care of at the time of Diksha. They may not apply to the Guru. But if the Guru has not properly checked the disciple and after taking Diksha, the disciple is committing Papa karma, then because the Guru's responsibility was not done properly and Guru did not check properly, and then the disciple's pap may start accruing upon the Guru. So for the pap which is committed after Diksha, and because the Guru did not check the disciple properly, those pap may start applying to the Guru. The verse does not say that Sanchit pap of the disciple. That Sanchit pap is unlimited. Unlimited it is there because births are unlimited. So Sanchit pap also you can say is unlimited. So when Sanchit pap is unlimited and you put that unlimited pap on the head of the Guru, so that does not seem justified. Therefore, it is that pap which is committed after Diksha, and that too because the Guru did not check the disciple properly. That may start accruing upon the Guru. So I hope that this answers your query to some degree of satisfaction.
So then, Prabhu, the Sanchit Karma, how is it getting exhausted? Just by the process of Diksha, like Krishna kind of wipes it out? Is it that we should understand? But not given to Guru?
No, by Guru introducing the disciple to Bhagavan and to Bhakti Yoga, and by the disciples' execution of Bhakti Yoga under the proper Shastriya guidance of the Guru. That is the factor which exhausts all Sanchit Karma. It is mentioned in the Śrīmad Bhagavatam. I will quote that verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, where Bhagavan is saying to Shri Uddhav, Uddhavai namsi Krishna Shaha. Yes, this is 11, 14, 19. I am sharing my screen where Shri Bhagavan says to Uddhav, Yathagnihi susamriddharchi karoti edhamsi bhasmasat tatha mad vishaya bhaktir uddhavainamsi Krishna shaha. Yatha agnihi, just as fire, susamriddha archi, which is burning brilliantly, karoti edhams, can exhaust any amount of fuel. Any amount of fuel it can exhaust. Tatha mad vishaya bhaktir. Similarly, my bhakti, O Uddhav, enamsi, can exhaust sufficiently any amount of past sinful reactions. So this is where Bhagavan is saying, just as a blazing fire turns firewood into ashes, similarly, bhakti into me completely burns to ashes, path committed previously by my devotees. So this is a destruction of aprarabdha or sanchit karma mentioned by Bhagavan in the Bhagavatam. And because the Guru teaches this, how to execute bhakti properly in the Shastriya manner. Tasmat tatra bhagavatam dharman shikshed guruvatma daivatah. Therefore, learn Bhagavata dharma from Guru, who is the devata of one's own self. Amayaya nuvrityaya istushhed atma dohari. One should learn the process of bhakti from the Guru, and without duplicity one should learn, so that Bhagavan will be satisfied, and then once Bhagavan is satisfied, then unlimited sanchita karma can be dealt with. Then only prarabdha karma remains to be dealt with. Prarabdha karma is for this life and it is most difficult to remove. But that karma also can go away by one pointed bhakti. So that is the answer to the question.
Okay, thank you. Next we have Ranavir Sama Prabhu, Simhan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam. This is Bharat Tej from
Hare
Krishna Prabhuji. It
Pranam.
is such a wonderful class. Always very profound, always very deep. In our Gaudiya Sampradaya, it is such a fortune to have such wells. So first, my humble obeisance unto you. Prabhuji, my question is, let's say, when like myself, who's in the neophyte stage, or I below the neophyte stage, who start with chanting, let's just say, with some motivation that Krishna might bless me with something, but at the end, when I say Sarvam Shri Radha Krishna Padar Padamastu, then does that absolve me um, of uh, of saying or of expecting any fruit of results from chanting, or does it still apply?
See, one thing is, if you have worldly desires within yourself and at the end of your activities of bhakti, you are performing activities of bhakti with worldly desires. So obviously it is breaking the condition of anyabhilashita shunyam. If it is breaking that condition, so most likely it will not fit in the ambit of Uttamā Bhakti. Although Bhagavan may make an exception, but we are going by the rule here. We are not going
Yes.
by the exception. So according to the standard rule, Bhagavan may not accept it as Uttamā Bhakti. And at the end you say Shri Krishna Arpanam Astu.
Right.
By Shri Radha is indicated.
Yes.
Shri Krishna Arpanam, so Radha Krishna Arpanam Astu. So Shri
Yeah.
Krishna Arpanam Astu. Now you offered it to Bhagavan, but Bhagavan knows within your mind that this act of offering was only an arop. It was only an external allegation, and that the mind is not free from phala abhisandhi. It is not free from the desire to attain a particular worldly result. So Bhagavan obviously is going to go not by your external speech, but he is going to go by your internal bhav. So that is what Bhagavan finally is going to accept. And therefore, Bhagavan will most likely understand, most likely he will take it as mixed bhakti instead of taking it as pure bhakti.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, next Radhika Vallabh Prabhuji, second.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Prabhu. I had one question regarding the word Prabhupada. You nicely explained the two meanings of the word Prabhupada. I want to ask whether one more third meaning. I was discussing with one devotee, and then he like this particular thought came. Like this meaning is based on in Tirupati temple there is Swami Pushkarini. In every Vishnu temple in South India there is a Pushkarini for the temple pond. But Tirupati temple there's something called that Pushkarini is specifically called a Swami Pushkarini. And the devotee told why it is called Swami Pushkarini. There was a king who lost his position and he was told to take bath in that particular Pushkarini to regain his position of being a Swami. So the Aswami became a Swami by taking bath in that Pushkarini. So therefore that Pushkarini is called a Swami Pushkarini. So similarly, we're discussing the word Prabhupada. Theologically, we understand that by surrendering to Prabhupada, many Aprabhus became Prabhu. Prabhupada said that my miracle is that I made hippies into happies, like that. Grammatical point of view, can this Vigraha Vakya, will that be applicable? Like, Yasya Padau Ashritya Aprabhu Aprabhu Prabhutvam Bhavati, something like that.
See, there are two terms, Prabhu and Pad. Right? So it has to fit either as Bahuvrihi, Tat Purusha, Dvigu, Dvandva, one of the types of samas. So if it doesn't technically fit into any one type of samas, then you cannot call it grammatic. You cannot call it Paninian. You cannot. You can call it Apaniniya, but you can still say that this is somebody's bhava, or you can still somehow try to justify it. But from a very strictly technical point of view, it has to fit within the Paninian framework. Only then you can say that it is grammatically justified. So you can take the Laukik word Prabhupada. You said it's not in the Sanskrit language. It's in another. It's in Hindi language, or it's in Bengali language, and then you can explain it away in many ways. But when you take a term in the Sanskrit language and it is a samasta shabda, it is a samas, then you have to explain it in a specific way. So, for example, there is Shukli Bhavati. So, Ashuklam Shuklam Bhavati, basically. That which is not white becomes white. There are ways to, there are terms which in Sanskrit which can be formed like this. But how will you justify the addition of the term Pad? So that is not easily possible through the framework available to us. Therefore, better to search for other meanings which can be justified through the Paninian framework. So I hope that answers your query.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Janardhan Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Today I have this question regarding Tatastha Lakshan. So, Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Anavritam qualifies it as Uttamā Bhakti. So, is it that when a person is practicing, if that Tatastha Lakshan is not there, so that particular person, whenever the Lakshan is there, he practices pure devotion service? Or that if that Tatastha Lakshan is not there, then he is categorized as Pradhani Bhuta or Guni Bhuta? How to understand?
There are the two Tatastha Lakshana Mara, Anyabhilashita Shunyam and Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. So if those two Lakshanas are present, that Anyabhilashita Shunyam is also there, and Jnana Karmadi Anavritam is also there, then you have fulfilled the Gauna Lakshana, but still Bhagwan's desire is still the Anukulyana Krishna Anushilana. It should appear favorable to Krishna. And Anukulyam is not from the Bhakta point of view, that I like yogurt today, so I am offering yogurt today. This is Anukulyam from the Bhakta's point of view. But what does Bhagwan like according to Shastra? So that is Anukulyam from Krishna's point of view. So finally, even though you may have both Gauna Lakshanas intact, final condition is always dynamic and dependent upon Bhagwan's sweet will. And sometimes you may not have Gauna Lakshanas intact. Still, if Bhagwan takes it in an Anukulya way, Bhagwan is going to be happy. For example, Mother Yashoda is showing a stick to Bhagwan. Although it externally appears Pratikulya, Bhagwan takes it as Anukulya. What Bhagwan takes as Anukul is Anukul. So, although from Mother Yashoda's point of view, she is behaving in a Pratikul manner. But from Bhagwan's point of view, he takes it as Anukul manner. So, in this way, the main condition is Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam, and other two conditions are secondary condition, Tatastha Lakshanam. They may be there, may not be there. Even if they are not there, if the main Bhagavan is agreeing to the main condition, he may still consider it as Uttamā Bhakti and give you the desired result in the form of Krishna Prema. So I hope that answers your query.
So Prabhuji, so Pradhana Bhakta means then he will be having Anyabhilashita, Anyabhilasha. That is the meaning there.
Pradhani Bhuta is a term which you are taking from Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to Bhagavad Gita, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you'll need to explain it to the viewers, otherwise viewers will not understand what it is. What is
Yes.
Pradhani? What is Pradhan in that? Bhakti or karma?
Bhakti is Pradhan.
Bhakti is Pradhan. So when Bhakti is Pradhan, then is karma shrouding Bhakti or is Bhakti shrouding karma? What is happening?
Bhakti is shrouding karma.
So then it fits within the ambit of Uttamā Bhakti, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? But so this is, but that small portion of karma also should be phala abhisandhi rahitam. It should only be for bhakti. Otherwise, anyabhilashita shunyam will be flouted. You see, this very subtle considerations are there here. Even though bhakti is shrouding karma, that karma also needs to be free from the desire. It needs to be anyabhilashita shunyam. So there are many considerations here. So if bhakti is pradhan, karma is gauna, but the desire for karma is not there. If it is nishkam karma, of course it can fit in Uttama Bhakti. But bhakti is pradhan, karma is gauna, but that karma is sakam. Of course it will not fit into Uttama Bhakti. So these are the subtle considerations here. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Ranavir Sama.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I
Yeah.
just had to ask a follow-up question. Prabhuji,
Yeah.
you said that if you have the intention of receiving something or having some fruitive results, then it comes under mixed bhakti. But as being part of grihastha, how can a grihastha perform anya abhilashita? Like, if I need to maintain a family, I need to pay rent, and hey Krishna, if you don't give me the money, if you don't give me a job, I won't be able to maintain the family. So this, even, I mean, if I have a situation in my life that I look towards Krishna or look towards Guru Kripa. So, but how do I execute pure devotional service just being in the Grihastha ashrama? Is it not possible at all?
I'll tell you one thing. Very simple. I'll give you a simple example. Let's say there is a lady who falls in love with a man and she is deeply in love with that particular man and she gets married to him. Now tell me, Bharat Tej Prabhu, does she have material desires or not have material desires?
I don't know, she will have, I guess.
Of course, because she is infatuated with the man. Now she gets
Yes.
married and they have a marriage, and of course she has material desires. That is why she is married to him. Of 2 years later, the man loses all his hair and becomes completely bald. All right. So the initial attraction is completely gone. All right. Now she feels repulsed by him after 2 years. And on top of that, he's very cranky, he's moody, he's very demanding. She realizes this after 2 years of marriage. So now she doesn't want to get out of the marriage because she doesn't want to break the marriage. And neither is she having any more material desires within the marriage. I hope you're able to understand.
Yes.
Now, please tell me, is the marriage still going on?
It's still going on, I guess.
But does it have any material desires?
Oh, I mean, I don't think so.
There's no material desires.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So it is very important to understand this thing, that in Yoga Darshan especially, it has been specified something. What has been specified? That sarvam dukkham vivekina. Very important to understand. For the viveki, for the intelligent, knowledgeable person, sarvam dukkham vivekina. Everything is a source of misery. Everything is a source of misery. The sooner a person realizes this in whatever ashram they are situated, the better it is for them. And
Kindly
even if
repeat
you are
your Kshamadam. Kindly repeat
Ah.
your statement about Sarvam Dukkham, the whole statement.
in the Yoga Sutras, there is a sutra which says Sarvam Dukkham Vivekina. For the knowledgeable person, everything is a source of misery. Everything. And this is something which Sri Krishna has also said in the Gita. Where has Krishna said in the Gita? I will share that particular.
While
I
you
will share.
share that, Prabhuji, will that
No.
not develop a negative outlook towards life?
Yeah, I will explain that too. In Gita, Bhagwan is saying, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavantah kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. Here also Bhagwan is saying buddha. In Yoga Sutra also Maharshi Patanjali is saying vivekina sarvam dukkham. For an intelligent person, it is all misery. But right now it looks as happiness. Array, it is that happiness which is like a beautiful dream that is gradually turning into a nightmare. Remember this example. Always remember this example. All right. Many times you might have seen a dream which begins on a very beautiful note, and gradually you tumble down the rabbit hole and it turns into a nightmare. So many times it happens like that in a dream. Same is the condition with material enjoyments. You begin with a very attached manner. Gradually, it starts turning into a nightmare. And uh, so you may be situated in Grihastha ashram, but if you have realized that the world has turned into a nightmare for me, then although externally you may be staying in the Grihastha ashram, but it is sarvam eva dukkham vivekinaha. You have realized that it is now a source of misery. But you are not giving up grihastha ashram. Why? Because loka samgraha, you need to maintain your family traditions. So you are maintaining the grihastha ashram. And you are not doing so grudgingly. Because doing something grudgingly also creates a new strand of karma. So you are doing so in an ungrudging manner because you asked it will make you negative. So you know that when you behave in a negative way, it will create another strand of negative karma. So that lady's example I gave, after 2 years, she has a bald, cranky, complaining husband who is, who's behaving in an unfavorable way towards her. And then what does she do? She cannot give up because she is the one who fell in love and she wants to continue the family. But she is neither behaving in an unfavorable way towards him, but she is neither personally having any material desires remaining. She is just continuing the ashram, supporting her husband so that she can fulfill her duties. So in that way, tell me, Bharat Tej Prabhu, is there any material desire remaining even within Grihastha ashram?
There is not, Prabhuji. There is not. But like you say, like even let's say if that person has realized, okay.
Yeah.
But how does he? Just like does he put on a good show, just like a good actor?
Yeah, there is something called as method acting. You know what is method acting?
I'm able to connect to it because I did dramatics in my childhood for
All
like
right,
7-8 years.
So I will just to make just to show this. I will show you that particular sutra from the sadhana path of Yoga Darshan. You read Hindi, Bharat Tej Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. I read Hindi, Sanskrit, and yeah.
Okay. I am
Heyam
sharing.
Dukkham Anagatam also is a very valid point.
Yes. So, yes, Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. Here is the 15th sutra. Parinama, Tapa, Samskar dukkhair gunavritti virodhacha dukkhameva sarvam vivekinah. 2.15, in Yoga Sutra. Dukkhameva sarvam vivekinah. तो परिणाम दुख, जो कर्म विपाक भोग काल में स्थूल दृष्टि से सुखप्रद प्रतीत होता है, उसका भी नतीजा दुख ही है. What appears right now as happiness, eventually it turns to distress. जैसे स्त्री प्रसंग के समय मनुष्य को सुख भासता है, पर उसका परिणाम बल, वीर्य, तेज, स्मृति आदि का ह्रास देखते हैं. While enjoying with a lady, a man is happy, but later it turns into a source of misery for him. Similarly for a lady. So भोगों को भोगते भोगते मनुष्य थक जाता है, उन्हें भोगने की शक्ति उसमें नहीं रहती, पर तृष्णा बनी रहती है. इससे वह भोग रूप सुख भी दुखी है. Even after enjoying, the desire to enjoy does not go away. It stays constant. So that enjoyment is also ultimately giving, unhappiness. So in this way, finally, it says there are a lot of reasons given there, and then it says sarvameva dukkham vivekina. Viveki ke liye to sab dukh hi hai. Everything, all sorts of so-called enjoyment in the world. You can look up detailed explanations on Yoga Sutra 2.15 to understand why everything is actually dukkham for a viveki, for an intelligent person like Bharat Tej Prabhu, isn't it?
No. I'm not at all, not at all. But I only depend on all the Vaishnavas' praise and Vaishnavi's praise. So thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
All right.
Hare Krishna.
Sure. Hare Krishna Prabhu, we have come to the end of the question answers, and
Yeah.
there was one private comment from our student, student. She had to leave early. She didn't stay for the question answers. She said, "I'm very much honored to hear Uttamā Bhakti from Parshad Das Prabhuji along with Vyakarna too. Dhanyosmi." So she relished the, we were so happy to see the sprinkling of Vyakarna, Samasa. It's like so nice, Prabhuji. We are so fortunate to have you and spend so much time with you. Unfortunately, I generally don't attend your online Siksha Ashtakam because it gets very late. I have to take care of children and all. But definitely, I always listen. It's a great source of inspiration and clarity. You're covering it such a depth and such a steady manner. Understanding, yeah.
Well, I don't know if all of those characteristics are true, but one thing I can tell you, my talks are a perfect antidote to insomnia. If you are not able to sleep sometimes, you can listen to my talks and they'll put you to sleep immediately. Let's you there's one characteristic of my talks, but I'm very thankful. Anugrahitosmi. And yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvamsah purayantu tat yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit. If there's any deficiency, any mistake, any slip up in what I said, vidvamsah, you are learned people, purayantu tat, please correct it, please complete it. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit. But if there's anything nice in what I spoke, please remember, tad guroreva, me nahi. It belongs to my Gurujanas. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, sorry, Lakshmi Narasimha Prabhu sent a message saying, how do we join Gaudiya Darshanam series? So I'm trying to see how I can send this information now. There's a WhatsApp group. Prabhuji,
maybe there's an email address where he can contact you with his phone number. Yes.
So
you can.
Yes, Prabhuji, Lakshmi Narasimha Prabhuji. Okay, I'm sending you a message. I'm sending you my email address, Prabhuji. You write it down.
All right, Mataji, I'll take permission to.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare
Please
Krishna.
send me the recording. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Dhanyawadaha, Mahoday.
Dhanyawada. Dhanyawada.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Prabhuji. Like always, we always relish it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
everybody unmute yourself and thank you. Thanks to Prabhuji. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Hari Parshad Das Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay.